Now at 6, the healing process begins. We talked to some of those football players that were on that charter bus when it crashed in Richmond County. And Charlotte leaders push to fix everything related to HB2, what they're asking the mayor to do. And the Panthers beat the 49ers, I'm sure you saw, but we have highlights and live coverage from Bank of America Stadium.
This is WCNC, NBC Charlotte News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Hagan, happy to be here. We begin tonight with our continuing coverage of that devastating bus crash in Richmond County yesterday afternoon. Take a look here. The lives of 4 local football players. They were lost and 42 other people had to go to the hospital. That bus was heading from Rock Hill to Fayetteville. The Ramah JUCO's football team, they were planning to play their inaugural game against the University of God's Chosen Disciples. And then, of course, that crash happened. Well, authorities released the names of the victims earlier today. And they say that the driver, 43-year-old Brian Kirkpatrick of Chester, 21-year-old Devontae Gibson from Rock Hill, 19-year-old Tito Hamilton Jr. from Florida, and 8-year-old Darius Hicks from Rock Hill. Those are the victims. Most of the people that were on that bus attended Clinton College in Rock Hill, and NBC Charlotte Savannah Levins is there now. Savannah, you spoke with some of those people who were on that bus crash when it happened.
Right, the football team was actually on their way to Fayetteville to play that game when it appears the wheel of their charter bus blew out. The driver lost control and rammed into a guardrail. And hearing the people on the bus, those students, recall those terrifying moments that I got to tell you, it's really, really hard to hear. Here at Clinton College, classes are canceled tomorrow. Counselors are available on campus all day today and all day tomorrow as students here just try to understand and cope with this horrible tragedy.
My son actually called me and he said, "Mom, we've been in a horrible accident."
Angela Brown says it was a mother's worst nightmare.
I just went into panic mode.
Her son Raquan terrified, not sure where they were or if his friends and teammates survived.
He was saying this person wasn't breathing and he was trying to keep his friend up from, going in and out.
Crazy, I ain't never seen nothing like that before.
Raquan says it all happened in a flash.
I was listening to music and then out of nowhere the tire popped and the bus driver, he couldn't control it. He tried his best, but he just couldn't.
That bus driver, 2 of the players on the team, and the coach's 8-year-old son all died.
Just pray for them, pray for the families.
Terrell Gateway's injuries from the crash will heal, but he's not sure his heart ever will.
They were hardworking friends.
The 42 people who survived that crash were all brought to the hospital. Some of them are still in the hospital right now fighting life-threatening critical injuries. And so we're hearing from the coach as well that a lot of the players have a long road to recovery ahead and the rest of their season is canceled, Sarah.
Oh, such a hard story. And Savannah, before we let you go here, just want to clarify one thing. Most of the victims were Clinton College students, but this was a club football team, correct?
Right, it's the Ramah JUCO Academy. It's actually a special program that allows students who did not make a college team, whether that's for financial reasons, academic reasons, athletic reasons, to kind of practice more with this academy and then eventually move into a college team. Their website says they also work with underprivileged kids here in the Rock Hill area.
Savannah,
and the really sad part to this story too, Sarah, like you mentioned, was this game they were headed to would have been their first ever.
Yes, we have reported that. That is just tragic news. They didn't even get a chance to enjoy that night. Just awful. We'll bring you the latest, too, of course. Well, the youngest victim, more news here to report, just devastating. The 8-year-old that we mentioned was the coach's son. Now, people who knew him said that he showed a lot of promise, and it's a life lost too soon, as all of those are. Well, NBC Charlotte's Diana Rugg has his story.
The bond between father and son over football was special for Coach Lamont Hicks and his 8-year-old son, Darius. Coach Hicks is leading the cheer. Darius, called Junior by his friends, is number 9 on the team.
I was watching him play, and I kept asking everybody who the young guy was because he stood out and played that great.
Lysandria Gwynn is close friends with the Hicks. Her nephew, LJ, played football with Darius for the Rock Hill Cowboys.
Very smart and intelligent. young man.
Darius was the youngest victim who died when the bus for his dad's new team, the Ramo Rams, crashed in Richmond County Saturday. Coach Lamont is among those in critical condition.
My heart mourns and goes out to the family.
Gwen is heartbroken as our friends and teammates' parents posting condolences on Facebook. LJ is too upset to say much, but already knows what he'll miss most about his teammate.
He'll play football with me.
He's a good friend? A good friend and rising star, gone too young.
To be gone at such a young age is very hard. It's very heartbreaking.
In Rock Hill, Diana Rugg, NBC Charlotte.
And Diana mentioned some of those condolences. We've seen them as well. Support and condolences have been pouring in for the victims all across social media. People saying things like prayers go out for the victims and their families, and that this is just an unbelievable, tragic loss. We're going to keep track of these developments for you. If we're not on the air, then you can find all of these developments to this story and others on our website, WCNC.com, of course. Governor Pat McCrory has officially dropped a lawsuit over House Bill 2. The lawsuit challenged another one Attorney General Loretta Lynch filed over the legality of the law, which mandates that people use the bathroom that matches their gender on their birth certificate. Now the state won't pay to fight similar lawsuits in 2 judicial courts, so still some developing details there. This dismissal comes as McCrory considers repealing HB 2, but only if the city of Charlotte gets rid of their non-discrimination ordinance. Just about an hour ago, some news here. The Charlotte Chamber and Hospitality Industry met to ask both city and state leaders to resolve the HB 2 issue immediately. People there say that they just want to get the state's public image back to where it used to be.
It has hurt us from an economic standpoint. It has hurt us from an image standpoint. And if there are things we can do working together, forging trust between the city and the General Assembly, then let's take advantage of just such an opportunity. Let's not miss this opportunity to repeal HB 2.
To wait and see what happens there. Well, we'll have much more on this story tonight after Sunday Night Football. Stay tuned for that. Turning now to our forecast, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich joins us now. Great day for some football.
Yeah, a little steamy out there.
Yeah, but we got some rain maybe too, right?
Yeah, finally, maybe some rain moving into the Charlotte area. Let's take a look at the tower cam right now. This is the view cam in Uptown. Look at all those clouds off to the west. There's actually some showers in between some of those clouds, but temperatures still well above average. You see those temperatures generally in the mid to upper 80s across the board. It was a toasty afternoon. Temperature got up to 89 degrees this afternoon, well above our average, a high of just 81. As that rain we were talking about, it's back to the west over in Tennessee and in parts of the mountains. Coming up, I'm going to show you when this rain moves in and whether or not it's going to be sticking around coming up in that work week forecast.
Brad, thank you. Police in New York City have determined that the explosion that we told you about that rocked a crowded Manhattan neighborhood last night was intentional. And New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said that it was clearly an act of terrorism. 29 people were hurt when that bomb went off. That was around 8:30 last night. The good news is all of them have already been released from the hospital. But federal and state agencies are still on this. They're still searching for more answers.
One of the things we're going to say to you today is we're going to be very careful and patient to get to the full truth here. We are not going to jump to conclusions. We're not going to offer you easy answers.
Less than 3 hours after that blast, police found what they say was possibly a second device just a few blocks away from the original explosion. And another bomb exploded in New Jersey at a 5K yesterday, but police say there's no evidence right now that explosion was connected to the one that happened in New York. In Minnesota, police are investigating after 9 people were hurt in a knife attack at a mall. It happened last night about an hour outside of Minneapolis. Police say that the suspect went into the mall, made references to Allah before attacking people. An ISIS-affiliated news outlet claimed that the attacker was one of their own, and now authorities are investigating this as a potential act of terrorism.
That individual made some references to Allah, and we have confirmed that he asked at least one person if they were Muslim before he assaulted them.
An off-duty officer shot and killed the suspect on the scene. None of the 9 people hurt have life-threatening injuries. Some good news there. We have new information about a homicide investigation in West Charlotte. Just hours ago, police identified the victim as 33-year-old Darius Chapman. Authorities say he was killed earlier this morning in the 3600 block of Brookshire Boulevard. An officer discovered 2 men, both with gunshot wounds, in a car pulled off to the side of the road. Chapman was inside the vehicle when officers got there. Medic pronounced him dead at the scene. And the second victim was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the arm. Now, news breaks at any time, every time, right? We want those updates. For updates so we can share them with you, you can go download the NBC Charlotte mobile app. We'll send all the latest details straight to your phone. It's free in your app store. Some exciting news. Good news to report here. The Panthers killed it for their home season opener, taking down the San Francisco 49ers with ease, winning the game 46-27. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw, but NBC Charlotte sports director Nick Carboni is live at Bank of America Stadium. Nick, what a game. You're right there on the sidelines. See it all.
Yeah, absolutely. But unexpectedly, it kind of became a nail-biter there in the fourth quarter as the Panthers up big, got a little sloppy, but ultimately won this game against San Francisco 46-27. It's their 14th straight win in this building. That is by far the longest active home winning streak in the NFL. Some of the images, reigning league MVP Cam Newton, hyped and ready to go. Big story off the field, Colin Kaepernick. He did take a knee during the national anthem. We did not see any Carolina Panthers kneeling as the flag was unfurled. What we did see the Carolina Panthers do was rack up a ton of offense, 527 total yards. As we mentioned, 46 points, but they also had 4 turnovers. That allowed the Niners to hang around in this game. Ultimately, though, Carolina hangs on 46-27. They are now 1-1 in the win column for the first time since the NFC Championship game. Here's head coach Ron Rivera.
Anytime you can win in the NFL, it's a nice thing, but too many things out there that we got to get straightened out and get taken care of. A lot of guys that play well, but we had too many mistakes that we made as a football team. You know, the thing I'm disappointed is we didn't protect the football very well as a team, and we had opportunities to get off on third down a couple of times, and we just didn't do certain things. I mean, there are some things that we have to get corrected if we expect to be a very good football team.
And they'll start correcting those things leading up to next week's Minnesota game. That is also right here at home next Sunday at 1 o'clock. Coming up in sports, Cam had a record-setting afternoon. We dive into some of those numbers, some more big plays and big highlights, and boy, is it good to have big number 13, Kelvin Benjamin, back on the field for this football team. That's all coming up. Live at Bank of America Stadium, Nick Carboni, NBC Charlotte.
Nick, can't wait. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, the gas shortage continues. How a cut pipeline in Alabama is affecting us right here in the Carolinas for the foreseeable future. You're going to want to hear this.
And could it be true? Actually, some rain on the way. Coming up, I'll let you know the chances you could get some rain on your parched lawns coming up in your forecast.